Well, we're planning to finish the season the right way. You know, I'm going to challenge, we challenged our players Friday that, you know, we've been dealt tough circumstances. You know, nobody anticipated being at this place this far in the season. But what's happened to us doesn't matter as much as our attitude going forward. And our attitude going forward is go 1-0 this week and try to do that for 3 consecutive weeks. And that's all we can control, and that's all we're going to do.
I'm sure everybody wants to know about your quarterback situation. What is the game plan this week?
Well, we're going to let them compete. You know, Kilton struggled last couple weeks actually. He keeps competing. He has an internal drive that's impressive, but he's got to be more efficient. Just like any position, you know, you put guys out there, and if it doesn't get done, you know, you've got to look for other answers. And I thought Zach did some decent things the other day when we got down a couple of scores. You know, he throws the ball better typically, and so you know we made a decision to go with him. And as we look at Hawaii's defense and how they're defending people, you know, we'll make a determination as to which skill set fits better to try to attack, and they may both play.
So should we expect an announcement of a starter before Saturday?
Probably not before Saturday.
All right. And practice reps will go 50-50 or what?
Probably close to 50-50, yes. You know, we're going to see how they practice.
And any chance we see anyone else play that quarterback position on Saturday?
Unless there's a lot of injuries.
Depth chart says you get Micah St. Andrew back this week?
Yes, it looks like you know he should be ready to go to practice this week. He's made dramatic improvement. He suited up last Thursday. Might have been able to play in an emergency situation, but he's been feeling better and doing a nice job at his rehab. So we anticipate he'll practice and be able to go.
Other than just being healthy, what made the difference for Josiah Blandon the other night? A lot more involved.
Well, you know, I think part of it is finding him. The quarterback's got to read the coverage, get the ball where it needs to be, and a couple of those plays, Josiah obviously was open, and he's a big target, and so I think it gives the quarterback confidence, and hopefully gives Josiah confidence because he's a guy that I think can really help us, especially against teams that are going to try to play a man, that he can use his body and his length to outbattle the defender. So hopefully he'll use that confidence. He's getting better each week, reading coverages, understanding where he needs to go in his routes, and hopefully our quarterbacks can find him.
Questions for Coach? The microphone.
All right, Coach, have you been through this before? Obviously coming off of such a high last year, going to the Mountain West Championship, and then winning 2 games the next season. Have you been through this before, and how do you attack that?
It's been about 11 years since I haven't been bowl eligible, so it's been a long, long time. I think that the thing you can do, there's 2 things. You feel sorry for yourself, or you can resolve to take care of the things that you have control over, and that's continuing to work, continuing to have the right attitude, and trying to get better each week. And that's the tack we're going to take as coaches. We have an opportunity to win another conference game this week, and it's all you do is you go out and you work. We talk to our guys all the time about the life lessons that you learn. And there's going to be times 15 years from now on a Friday afternoon where you may get a pink slip. How are you going to react? Are you going to feel sorry for yourself, or are you going to figure it out? We're going to use this to teach our guys resolve, and despite the circumstances, find a way to make the best of it.
9 games in, how would you describe just this season so far?
Obviously a disappointment. We've had a lot of adversity that we've had to deal with, a lot of injuries, probably more so than any point since we've been here. But everybody has them, and you've got to find ways to, fight through those and still, attain your goals. We didn't get that done. So then you review how are we doing things? How do we try to improve? And it starts this week by trying to beat a Hawaii team out of their place where they're very, very difficult to play on the island.
Not being bowl eligible anymore, the seniors have 3 games left. What is the message to the seniors, and have you seen any change in them since the game on Thursday?
Well, we got together and watched the video on Friday, and then we had them work out. I think the attitude's been the same with those guys. I like our senior group. We've got some guys that are very committed to this program that are obviously hurting for where they are right now. Nobody anticipated this, and so when it does happen, your first reaction is a little bit of shock, and now it's okay. We got knocked down. How do we pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and move forward?
More questions for Coach?
Yeah, obviously, offensively, it's been a struggle. The second half of the game against Nevada was pretty hard for you guys. Not as an out, but how much do you attribute your offensive struggles to the fact that your quarterback situation is what it is? I mean, if Virgil hadn't got hurt, how much better do you think you could have been?
It's hard to project. We had Virgil, number one, come out of fall camp for a reason. I think he's very talented. He understood our offense. We felt he'd get better. You can't blame everything on Kilton, obviously, but there was a reason he was number 4 coming out of camp. He wasn't quite where the others were. But here we are, 6 weeks into it when we first started going with him, and he was competing. And, we've got to continue to help him get better. Part of, what was setting us back is we weren't able to make some of the throws. At times he does. At the end of the first half, I thought he was, doing a nice job on our clock drive. But then we came back in the second half and we're bouncing bubbles. And I mean, you can't do that and be effective. We go 3 and out the first 2 drives of the third quarter, and with their running game, we held them to field goals, but the clock killed us because they went on 6-7 minute drives. We had the ball for about a minute and a half because we're not able to convert. And part of our outside running game is the bubble bullet package, and you got to be 100% on those, and we weren't able to do that. So all that goes into our consideration for who needs to be our quarterback going forward, and that's why we're going to have an open competition this week.
Any final questions for Coach?
You mentioned Nevada's running game, and you guys shut it down the first half, 25 rush yards first half, second half, about 10 times that much. What changed, and what do you think prevented you guys from adjusting after they adjusted to slow them down again?
Well, I think just the sheer number of reps changed in the second half. I think we got more down a little bit. I think it's difficult at times. You have a long sustained drive, and then it's 3 and out, and you're right back out there, and that's 3 and out, and you're right back out there. It's not an excuse, it's just the reality of it. You've got to bow up and find ways to make tackles. In the first half, we did that. We were fresh. You get a couple guys knocked down in the second half, and now you're playing with guys that have to step up, but they're not quite ready yet. And so we missed some tackles at the point of attack. They were still running their similar scheme. It wasn't like there was a bunch of adjustments made. We didn't fit things. We didn't tackle well. And then on third down, we made some mistakes that we should have not done. We lose contain on a quarterback. We have the ball thrown in front of us on a fourth down play. We make the tackle. We're off the field, and we miss the tackle. Give them credit. They made the plays, but our guys didn't, and we've got to coach our guys to do that better.
Coach, you had mentioned that Chase, when he got hurt, it would be a good learning experience for him. How has he progressed learning, watching him on the sideline?
Obviously he's absorbing everything. He's in every meeting. He's traveling with us. But it's always different being the guy in the arena versus the guy on the sideline. I think he's learning a ton, but we obviously would love to have him playing to get that experience. He'll have another spring, another fall to get better, and his career will move on from there, and he'll get a chance to compete and earn the job back.
And just speaking about, your next opponent, Hawaii, what do you know about them, and what do they bring to the table? They're going through some changes as well.
Yeah, they're a little bit different last week. They started Woolsey at quarterback. He started a few weeks ago against New Mexico. Prior to that, when Winnick was there, they were primarily a throw team. They were much more balanced last week. They ran for almost 200 yards and threw for about the same. I think with Coach Naiuli, he probably is more comfortable with that kind of a mix with Woolsey. And so we're trying to balance, as you evaluate them, how much of prior stuff? Is this the new coach, or is it the quarterback, and are they trying to tailor their game plan to that? Defensively, they're a pressure unit. They're a 3-4 team. That Tom Mason's their defensive coordinator. He's been there 1 year. He knows what he's doing, and they do a nice job, especially up front. They're very, very physical, and we're going to have to find ways to make plays both on the ground and throwing it to spread them out and balance them.
Has your record and your struggles this year, have you seen recruiting change because of it? Have you had to shift your message in light of what people are seeing on Saturdays or Thursdays or Fridays?
No, we've actually had really good response from our recruits. Our guys that were on understand that we were going through a tough season. They know our track record of our coaching staff. They see opportunities, to come in here and be an impact player. And so you want a guy that doesn't want to sit for a few years. You want a guy that wants to come in and play. And so we've got some of those guys. And so by and large, no, we're about the same point where we were any other year.
And you're recruiting players, but you're also recruiting fans, right? And when you go through a stretch like this and attendance dwindles the way it has, you have to recruit fans back. So what's the message? What do you see as a reason for fans to expect things to be different next year than they are right now?
Well, I think if people look at a roster, the majority of the plays being made by our guys are guys that are going to be here for 2 and 3 more years after this. When you're playing with younger guys, that experience level doesn't bear fruit until the next year or the year after. And right now, physically, we're not deep enough on either line to sustain injuries and continue to compete at the level we need to. We're going to address that. We'll probably sign some junior college guys on both sides of the line of scrimmage to immediately be ready next year. And during the off season, particularly in a year when you're not going to a bowl game, you've got extra time to really evaluate what you're doing, both sides of the ball, staffing, all those things. So all those things will be, taking place after the season.
Any final questions for Coach?
This kind of came up last week too, and it's a little bit kind of what Paul was getting at. How do you weigh in the last 3 games you got the need to get more of the younger guys on the field and get them the experience and still maintain the commitments to the senior guys that are on the way out?
I think the only thing you can do as a coaching staff is play the guys that are going to give you the opportunity to win the game that Saturday, and each and every Saturday. I think that's the most fair thing you can do for your football program at any point. I can't imagine being a player saying, hey, I should play because I'm playing for 3 years ahead of somebody who I'm not better than today. And so that's going to be our charge to our guys. Now we're going to use our developmental time with our younger guys and let them do some what we call rookie ball scrimmages. And we'll be out in just helmets and shorts today, but our younger guys, we're going to scrimmage them a little bit. So we're going to continue to help develop those guys, knowing that going forward they're going to be our guys, and they just need the reps and they need to get coached.
As far as going to Hawaii, how does that change your practice schedule and stuff having to go out to the island?
We'll do everything pretty much the same, normal Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll practice Thursday morning and then fly out to the island Thursday afternoon. So as far as our practice schedule, all those things will fit in, and then we'll do our walkthrough at a high school on Friday and the normal game day on Saturday.
I know you never coach to avoid a negative, but are there some things with the way the season is played out that maybe you can use to press a button with your team to make some of that pride swell and to produce maybe an effort or result you haven't? For instance, Fresno State has never had a 10-loss team before, and you guys need to win a game to make sure this isn't the first. Are those kinds of things that you can get this team to respond to?
I don't know that you use that, or that it would even resonate with our players. I think our players got a lot of pride. As coaches, we're pouring through that tape and we're not executing the way we should. But we don't have guys turn things down and loafing and hanging their head. The things that you look for to see, hey, are these guys checked out? What we've got to do is execute all 3 phases better. And you do that by practicing, and you do that by going out with some fire. And we'll continue to challenge our guys. Like I said, we're going to challenge them about who are we? What message you want to send about yourself as an individual, as a unit, as an offense, as a defense, as a team. Each and every time you go out there, you're writing your resume. And those are the things try to accentuate, not so much to avoid a negative.
All right, we'll let Coach go at this time.